Well, hello. You find me at my edit bench putting a little video together that I filmed a couple of weeks ago, and it's about, well, quite a lot about Land Cruisers, a little bit about the van, and actually it just seemed to come up in discussion. Oh, there's a bit about Astro Photography too, but it came up about my retirement. How do I feel about retiring? Some of you would love it if I retire. I don't quite understand that because, well, if you really want me to retire, well, then stop watching the channel. But if you do enjoy me, you might be thinking, you can't retire, we enjoy it too much. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of you in between those two categories. And a meet and greet schedule in South Africa and Australia. It is windy. Hello again. I am back in a favourite part of mine called the Rangeland, Karara Rangeland Park. Between 4 and 5 hours from my home. It's the still part of the wheat belt, but it's at the extreme northern edge of the wheat belt, kind of. It's about 200 kilometers from the coast, give or take. So it's inland, and I'm heading that way into the park. And come and spend some time with me. I'm on my own. I just needed to chill again. If you are a regular to the channel, you'll remember not very long ago I came up here and did a little short solo trip, but actually had to leave prematurely. There was some challenges at home. Nothing, all good. I can assure you of that, but I did have to leave, so I didn't manage to do some of the things that I wanted to do and share some of the things I wanted to share with you. So that's what I'm going to do now. As I said, it's windy. It's 25 degrees. I think that there are going to be quite a few flies. It's coming into fly season. Summer is fly season, and so it's coming into fly season now. So during the heat of the day, I'm going to have to deal with a few flies. It's a minor issue, but I am going to do that astrophotography and talk about the projects for 2026, which astrophotography is a big part of that. And I'm going to do some test shots now with standard equipment and then present to you the limitations of astrophotography with standard photographic equipment. Period of the month where there's no moon tonight, and for the next 4 nights. So conditions should be really, really good. Karara has become the equivalent of water there, of the Makarikaris for me. Now, the Makarikari is an area in Botswana that I was drawn to again and again and again. It's similar to this in terms of it's very, very flat, lots and lots of salt lakes like there are here. But the colour of the soil, the atmosphere is quite different. But the big sky country is what I absolutely love. And of course, for me now, even when I lived in South Africa, to get to the Makarikari was 3 to 4 days in the car to get there. Now it's not 3 or 4 days, it's a week and a lot of money for airfares and etc. So, and this is so close to my home that I can just come and feel that feeling of just wide open spaces and emptiness, and my whole body just goes into this chill mode coming out here. I absolutely love it. I'm going to go to the place I camped last time. I might stay there. That's another, I guess, 20 minutes from where I am now, and I'll see how I feel when I get there. I might continue because my idea is actually to cross the Karara rangeland, actually cross it from west to east, and then go home via the main north road. I have I'm going to use the drone. I've seen a place that's wide open, and it might be quite nice. So I need to drive forward about 1 kilometer, so I'll just leave the drone there filming, and then beautiful wildflowers here are gorgeous. So now what I'm thinking about doing is okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a right here. I'm going to drive through the bush. You know, this looks suspiciously like exactly where I was last time. It might even be exactly where I was last time, but I can see here a perfect, which side is the wind blowing? Wind's blowing that way, so I want to face this way. This might even be the same place. It's not, you know. It's not. I would remember that tree, because that'll make a nice silhouette. I'm a little bit further elevated. I can see the lakes and the hills over there a little bit better. I was correct. Where I'd stopped before was where I camped before, but it was very, very similar. It's absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Tell you what I might do though, and that is to land the drone. Can you see it? This is how I land it. See how windy it is? Amazing. All right, I do that. That is how I land the drone. Hello. It's freezing cold. The wind is howling. And, well, I don't know about... Okay, so during your average month, and I'm talking now about Astro Photography, during your average month, you've got 8 days, right? 4 ideal days. New moon is tomorrow, so today is the one day before the perfect day. Okay, 2 days either side of new moon, perfect time for astrophotography. Then you can add a couple of days each side of that. Then if you can put up with the moon a bit, and you've got a couple of days either side of that. So really, you've got 8 days a month to do astrophotography without the challenges of having moonlight. Then you have to wait for a few things. One of them obviously is weather. And as you can see, a lot of cloud. Well, the weather forecast said it was going to be clear, and they got it wrong. It's not going to be clear. So tonight, no astrophotography. Because it also won't work with wind. Because if you're doing very long exposures and you get a little bit of movement, the slightest amount of movement, then forget it. Okay, so there can't be a lot of wind either. Well, this is the rig that I was planning to use tomorrow. I guess I'll just explain it tomorrow. It's too cold. I'm not going to have any fun tonight. Too difficult with the wind and everything. So I'm going to climb into the troop carrier because I have a meal that I am about to take the camera inside. Why don't I do that? What I am learning there is a layout for my van. Now, I think that these late night shoots are going to be, this is going to be frequent. Wind, maybe some unpleasant conditions, not favourable. So I need a place to get in out of the wind and actually be able to make a meal. Not just at the kitchen standing up like I've been doing here. And if I think about the van, why don't I have the ability to do both? I think I can make it possible to make a meal inside as well as outside. This is all food for thought. So the wind's died down a little bit, and there's some cloud, but it's an interesting sky. So I'm trying a couple of shots and see what they look like. Now I can give you the challenges I have here. Always set the camera on manual because, well, you need to be able to control everything. Now the Milky Way here is not particularly distinctive because of a great amount of dust in the atmosphere and a little bit of ambient light as well. I'm going to go at 10 seconds. I'm going to turn off that, and then I have to turn off that light as well. So now with all the lights off, I'm going to try exposure. Taking 10 seconds and 2.8. It's a 60 megapixel sensor, so I can zoom back like this and keep detail all the way through. The contrast between the stars is not particularly good. There is still quite a bit of ambient light in the sky itself, as you can see near the horizon here. I have a photograph that I took on the Canning stock route, and this is the potential when the sky is absolutely black, which it's not right now, and it's probably not going to be on this trip. Certainly interesting, so many satellites. And so I'll tell you what I'll do is I'm going to turn on a few lights and get some shots of the car with the light on. Yeah, I'll do this and I'll show you. This one is really looking rather nice after a lot of photo processing, of course. Straight out of the camera, the image looks like this. But now if I zoom in to maximum, you can see the stars are not actually round. They're very slightly elongated. That is because during the 10-second exposure, the apparent movement of the stars is causing this. The only way around this is to take longer exposures. And the only way to do that is to purchase an equatorial mount that will get the camera to track the stars with their apparent movement. Well, good morning to you. I've woken up to a delightful morning to the sounds of a dingo, which is rather wonderful. The strippy goes onto the market this week. I'll be selling it and focusing my time and effort on my workshop and my van. I mentioned my workshop. Yes, indeed, my workshop that I've spent so many lovely hours and presenting items to you is being pulled down, and I'm building another one. So that is going to be a new series of videos coming out soon, and I'm going to need your help because, well, I've not done too many workshops before, and many of you have. It's a lovely morning, absolutely beautiful morning. Not a sound, except for the dingo. Right, I definitely need some coffee. Right, so I have fun with see this, 3D printing. I've got what they call a Bamboo Lab carbon, and I muck about with it. I actually use it mainly for components for my model ships. As some of you know, I scratch build model ships. That video is doing 200,000+ views on my alternative channel. Yeah, go and have a look at that. It's a kind of a nostalgic look at my model building since I was a very young lad. I thought it was a nice movie, and I'm using it for this on here for the first time, and I decided to like if I was playing music, because I don't know what I mean I made it not really knowing what I would use it for. But there you go. So I've got things that I have to tell you about, that I made a list here. All right, I mentioned my alternative channel. It's, if you like my work, you need to, and I know a lot of you have gone and subscribed, and don't forget to click that little unifications bell, that little bell. Now, I know for a fact, it's a strange thing with YouTube, a lot of people, and I'm one of them, their YouTube channels are being strangled. The YouTube is not showing the videos to as many people, and even the notifications sometimes do not work. And so my secondary channel will eventually actually become my main channel, because it's growing so much faster than my main channel. So of course I'm going to invest in it, but I am kind of focusing on that channel is mainly long form, my not 4x4 technical stuff. It's my it's my travel stuff that I love to do. Storytelling. Travel and storytelling. That's what that's about. And so I am not going to always be reminding people on this channel that I've dropped a new video on that channel. So it's pretty important that if you are a fan of my work, go over right now and just go and click that little notifications bell, because I can see in the long term that actually becoming my main channel. And the reason for it actually is Egon, and I wanted to share with you my rationale of my career. I consider my career an interesting one, certainly a little unusual, and I have, as you probably know, not gone for big sponsors, not chased sponsors in any meaningful way, and I've had a couple of offers, and none of them were satisfying. The one that was satisfying, and I did take, it was a small amount. It was from Tamer, and they basically supported our Africa builds, both of them. And I actually want to give a shout out to them, because as I move away from Land Cruiser and move towards van, they don't really make anything for the van at this time anyway. So that relationship is kind of ending. They gave me a stipend for a period, for 2 years I think it was, and that supported the Africa project, because of course the Africa project was extremely expensive, but immensely rewarding. And I cannot praise their products highly enough. I mean, we've used a lot. There is still a lot on this vehicle, and this is a really high-end, high-spec Land Cruiser, and rear springs, steering damper. There are a few other things as well, but the point I'm making is that they've been fantastic with me, and thank you. And the great part about their stipend was they just said, I would like to help you out. That was the total stipulation of the sponsorship. And I said, okay, well, can I put some stickers on the side of the car? Yeah, if you like. Cool. Same with Africa Build. Africa Build was a little different though. Africa Build, they supplied a lot of kit, a lot of spares. Of course, we rebuilt those two vehicles. If you don't know about them, they were epics. I built a 105. Full marks, but you do understand that
the engine, the gearbox, they're strong.
I think this engine part has been butchered.
Well, at least I've given you a challenge.
I couldn't resist it.
It's September 2019, and that vehicle had been absolutely, completely and utterly butchered by the previous owner. And the stories behind what they had done to this, they had really, butchered is the right word. And with the help of Troy and Tamer, they sent a whole lot of spares, a plane load of spares, over to South Africa. They were considering opening a South Africa store at the time, and they thought this would be a good way to launch it. And they actually brought it forward, apparently, and they launched it on the back of what I had done, because the publicity was so good. In South Africa, guys who were watching it were saying, well, where can we get this stuff? And so they then opened the store in Cape Town, and it's doing brilliantly, I understand. And of course, they then helped us in 2023 when we built the troop carrier. They are doing the FTE conversion. In fact, I think they've just done it. I'm waiting for the footage, and then Paul will give it a test drive, and then I will produce a video which actually explains the process. So if you're interested in doing an FTE conversion to your 1HZ Land Cruiser, then they can do it. Its name, and they will, and I'll even give you some costings and things like that, so you can understand what we know it's going to be worth it. How complicated is it, and how expensive is it? Are the two big questions. So I need some coffee. This is taking a long time, a lot longer than that, a lot longer than the electric. Okay, well, it'll still make nice coffee. Oh, I wanted to mention to you, I think I'm going to do a video on my picture library. Oh, there you go. Okay. How satisfying that is. The Overland Workshop has a new course, and I have dedicated it to those starting out with four-wheel drive, the beginners. I have shot a whole lot of new material, and it's basic. It's brand irrelevant. It doesn't talk about specific vehicles, specific makes of anything. It talks about the principles, the most important principles that I think that a lot of people that want to go overlanding and have never really been it, and they're excited about it, and they don't have a lot of money to spend, but they really want to do it. You know, it's not a particularly expensive thing to do. Actually, it's quite an inexpensive thing to do. You don't actually have to do much to your vehicle to go proper overlanding, and then as you progress and you become more adventurous, then the equipment needs to match the adventure. But to start with, honestly, you don't need to spend huge dollops of money. These YouTube rigs and Instagram rigs are so misleading. So that the course is trying to get past that. I posted a Instagram reel asking for suggestions, and I did this for both Patreons and ASPW Experience members and public. Where would you like to have a meet and greet? And it didn't help me at all, because you guys are scattered all over the world. There wasn't even a concentration in Australia, interestingly enough. I thought there might be. They're talking about New South Wales and Tasmania and Namibia and several in Dubai, all over the US, some in Canada, all over the world, dotted around Europe, Holland, Germany, 4 or 5 in the UK, but they're not in one place in the UK. You know, UK is not a particularly big country, but it's really expensive to get around. You know, train fares, it's cheaper to fly around Europe than it is to catch a train in the United Kingdom. So is there any one place ideal in any continent for a meet and greet? Yeah. Perth. Because it's easier for me. Because it's not easy for anybody unless you're in that town. So I'll probably do one in Perth fairly soon. It was really interesting. I was hoping there would be a concentration, but there wasn't. This is where I interrupt my video. We will be doing some meet and greets in South Africa in February. And I say we, that's Heine and I. And the reason for it is that we want to share with you what 48 volts is going to be. So my vehicle won't be up in Johannesburg, but you'll be able to meet both of us. But down in Cape Town, you'll be able to have a look at the FTE Land Cruiser as well. And we're going to talk about 48 volts. Why is 48 volts such a game changer? And the thing is that we know, we can see the future because it's so amazing. As we are developing this and testing it, we keep looking at each other and saying, holy shit, this is unbelievable. And it's not that 48 volts is that new. 48 volts has been around for a long time. Done this way, it's new. Done this easily, it's new. 48 volts is the purview of the military. Not anymore. Just the last little conclusion. You'll notice that on the main channel, this channel, there is a lot of Egon content. Of course, Egon is. I'm the co-founder, and I'm very much involved, and it's become a bit of a full-time job now because it's so exciting. And the truth is that I actually want to retire. So some of you, a few of you, will be going, oh, no, Andrew, don't retire. Oh, Andrew, please don't retire. Hold on a minute. Retirement for me is doing this, but not having to worry about the financial side of it. I want to do more travel, road trip travel. And I'm not necessarily talking about four-wheel drive and overland. I am talking about overland, but I'm talking about trains. I still want to do Canada. I still want to drive to the Arctic Circle. I still want to do all of these things. But I can't do them because the financial, it's not a hugely lucrative channel. So I can't throw huge amounts of money into a trip that I really want to do, but I want to. So Egon I see is the main channel. Egon are now kind of become partners, and I'm using it to reach the audience and share this new concept of distribution boards, which is really quite amazing actually, in how it's freeing people to do their own builds. And suddenly now 48 volts is becoming accessible to anybody. It's never been like that, and we're making it like that. And so I see it as part of my legacy, and as part of Egon, I'm actually bringing the community and saying, you know something, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. You can absolutely do it yourself. You do not need to take your vehicle in and spend a lot of money at a workshop. And in so many cases, the workshop and the wiring and everything is done to such a poor standard, you might as well do it yourself. And with the Egon products, you can do it yourself. And not only can you do it yourself, you can do a damn good job yourself without knowing very little about it. Do a little bit of homework and then read the instructions and follow exactly. And so that's why the channel is becoming an Egon soapbox. Is that what they call it? Stand on a soapbox in the corner of the street and hold out a book and read things from it and shout at people. That's what the channel is becoming. So my alternative ASPW Experience, that channel will become my retirement channel, if you want to call it a retirement channel. It's growing very, very fast, very nicely, very happy with it. So that's the kind of, again, the chapter for Forex Overland is reaching the end of the chapter, and Egon will, I am confident, be able to give me the funding to, in inverted commas, retire. You guys will still get my content because I love doing that much. I want to continue doing it. I'm not somebody who will retire in the classical sense and sit in my lounge and watch sport on the television. That's not me. That's not me. So look on the left now, there's a very, very large lizard, a monitor lizard. Just saw it crossing in front of the road. There it is there. Can you see it on the left there? You can see it in the bushes, crawling underneath the... Later that day I packed up and headed east to find another campsite on the other side of the Karara Rangeland Park. He's there. I don't have the right camera out and ready to catch him. He's hiding underneath the bush. See, there's a lot of wildlife around here. Driving quite slowly, and you see it. Somewhere along here I have to make a right turn, but I do want to go on the Kudji Road, so it says straight Kudji Road, so I'm going to bear right here. I think the left track here goes to this derelict farmhouse. Crossing through the area is a railway line. These lines serve the mines in the area. And also not far ahead of me there, that white pan in the distance, there is a gravel road. So I'm going to get onto the gravel road for a period. I might see some other traffic and then continue on to an area that I've been to before. That's my go-to. If I find a really beautiful campsite before that point, I might stop. But there is an area and a really nice campsite quite close to a pan, probably a couple of hours ahead of me. I've had a lovely day. 3 o'clock it is, getting quite close to my campsite. So I actually hit a bit of tar road. I think my maps are a bit old because I hit the tar and about 20 k's or so hit a gate, and it was a mine gate and I was not permitted access. But the chaps manning the gate said just go back about 5 k's. There was a cattle grid and there's a new fence and you run, and he said just follow the fence and it'll bring you around the mine, which took good 40 minutes, and I did that, and now I'm on another mine road. These mine roads are amazingly well kept, and my idea is to go and camp at the same campsite on the edge of the pan where I camped on the trial trip, very first trip I did of my grey troopy. Having been ordered in December 2020 and delivered July 21, 9 months later, my troopy is in its final stage of building. And it was a lovely campsite. I remember it well, so that's what I'm doing. All right, some bad news. There are about 4 or 5 cars camped at that place. That's unfortunate, but I'm trying to use my memory now. That's the place marked on my map. So I'm gonna try and find some. I don't want to camp with a whole lot of other people. Not interested. I'd rather go into the bush somewhere. So that looks like a track there. I'm gonna just try and take some of these tracks. You know, all I need is that mic. I think that goes to the pan surface. Let's try this. You can see why this place is like the Makati Kadi. I'll show you why. Very, very similar, isn't it? Some nice trees over there. Here's a flashback for you. On the banks of the Pan near the Mabusa Hube in 2024, I was looking for a place to camp, and it was not unlike this now. So those trees over there where the people are camped, you can see from here, I can see several of them camped there. I'm hoping that the track's going to continue around the edge and take me to those trees over there. So the ground is soft. I've got to be very, very careful. I have no intention of getting bogged, and I do need a bit of protection from the wind. So I'm hoping the trees are going to be able to give me that protection. Right. I've driven just about 30 meters from where I stopped. This is the campsite where people have camped before. Let's have a look, see if this is going to work for me. Actually, it is actually quite nice. It's really not bad at all. I have a bit of protection from the trees. It's very, very flat. Somebody's had a fire here. I might even have a fire tonight if the wind dies down. There's a bit of firewood there. Yeah, this is where I'm going to camp. Slightly down on the left, I think. Do I need max tracks? It's not down on the left. It's perfect. Right. Quite a cold wind. I think it's going to be very cold tonight. But luckily, the wind isn't coming across the pan. Flies are quite bad here. Anyway, thank you for joining me on my trip. I really do appreciate it when you guys comment. Just the fact that you like being with me, that alone is wonderful. This should be a nice place for some photographs tonight. There you go. It starts about now and continues on, and the bush areas are where the flies are worse, and particularly near cattle areas. But so much of Western Australia, so much of Australia is cattle country. So it's cattle have got a large influence on the fly, but the flies can also, wind direction can change. One day you can have no flies at all, next day lots of flies if the wind direction changes. Heat, when it gets very, very hot, it'll be warmer here than it was last night, and I know that because of the flies, because there were hardly any flies where I was last night, because at night it dropped to about 9 degrees, so it's a bit chilly. Flies do not like cold. So that is why it's obviously going to be warmer here, because the flies are happier. So, and you get used to them. You do get used to them, but they can make things a little unpleasant. I am so spoilt having a troop carrier. That horrible wind out there and the flies, and getting inside here, I'm escaping the flies. I don't need a fly screen at all in here. You get a few in here, but you don't get lots. So I escape the flies, I escape the wind. I don't know. I've gone soft, no question about it. And the troopies helped me go soft, because it's just wonderful that I can just chill and be very, very comfortable. Now, for 2 people in here, I'd have to have 1 upstairs and 2 down, or if this configuration was different, you could have 2 in the back here, but it would still be a little bit cramped if one had drawer systems and a fridge. So, but honestly, I'm just so spoiled. That's what I'm having tonight. It's freeze-dried seafood pasta. It's one of my favorite meals that Gwyn cooks for me at home, and she is about to do some content on dehydrating, but now especially freeze-drying. Gwyn's course on creating pantries that for long-term storage, and also lightweight food, dehydrated and freeze-dried food for campers, for travelers, and that is actually currently a course now on the Overland Workshop. And also she's putting a piece together right now on freeze drying. That's actually an exclusive for Patreon and ASPW Experience people. She's putting that together, and so we've been for the last 6 months or so trying different meals and experimenting with them. All I will do, once that is boiled, I'm using gas because I'm still hybrid. I'm still part electricity, part gas. I haven't gone away from gas yet. It's more convenient. I could boil the water both ways, but right now it's more convenient, and I'll let you know how that goes. I think we've had about a 60% success rate with food that we've dehydrated and we've tasted and eaten. Sometimes it is absolutely brilliant. It tastes exactly like it's just come out of the stove, oven, whatever, at home, and other times it's not that great. I'm hoping to do some more Astro Photography tonight. The sky is better than it was last night, and I'm going to do it from the surface of the pan, so that should be really nice, but I've got to wait for the wind to die down. Last night it died down at about 9 o'clock. It would have been much quicker with electric, because electric would have been out of the wind, but I don't have a water boiling pot compatible yet with induction cooking. That kettle is on its way out. It's actually got a few rust in the inside, so this is the last time I'm going to use it. I'm going to have to put it in my trophy of no longer used but beloved camping equipment. It's been a lovely kettle, but its time has come. You might be asking, why don't I build myself a fire? The wind. Otherwise I would definitely have a fire. But I just know that I'm not going to spend a lot of time around it, you know, sitting getting warm. I'll climb inside the vehicle where it's a little nicer to sit. So that's why, because there's plenty of firewood around. Let's see what this looks like. All right, clumsy. Let's see what this looks like. I actually have to see if it hasn't got too much water in it. It's got a little bit too much water in it, but not too much water in it. The bowl is a little small, but oh, look at that. Whoa. Okay. Absolutely perfect. I'm going to just spill a little bit of water out. There's a little tad too much water, but not too much. You know, cooking shows, they go mmm, and they always go mmm, and it means nothing. So in the tradition of all good cooking shows, there is a prawn. 10 out of 10. It's delicious. It needed another 2 or 3 minutes. I'm battling with getting the timing, and I'm tending to pull it out a little bit too soon. And that was about 13-14 minutes. I'm learning. What a success. What a great supper that is. What movie am I watching? I'll give you 3 seconds. This movie, you can't actually listen to more than 7 seconds of it, if that, without the F word. So, what movie was it?
What the fuck is that? I think I made it mad. Yo, McLean, get the fuck out and fucking do something. Goddamn it, McLean, listen to me.
You could have a drinking game with this movie. You'd get absolutely pissed within the... Oh dear. Of course, it's Die Hard with a Vengeance. The best one. Now talk amongst yourselves and argue amongst yourselves on what the best Die Hard movie is. I think it's this one. And I'm not going to now make more cooking show noises. Okay, so I'm going to get a couple of shots here. I've walked out onto the pan. The wind is howling. It's really blowing hard. So I'm not sure how successful I'm going to be. I've only got one camera. It's on the tripod there, and I'm now going to get some shots, and then I'll report on them tomorrow. Let's give it a try. Oh, good morning. My last night with a troopie. It was a good night. Last morning. I'm going to go for a walk onto the pan. Alright, I'm going to make this walk short. Freezing. Absolutely freezing. I need to make some coffee. Love salt pans, boy. This is a campsite worth remembering. I'm going to put it on my little database so I can come back here. The wind is really quite bitter. It must be 6 or 7 degrees. Wonderful. I'm going to tell you a story about this. It's rather nice, isn't it? Lots of character. Used it for 20 plus years. I think I bought that, in 2006 for it was my very first television series that I actually made specifically for television. 2006 I went out to the Kalahari. It's the video is on YouTube. It's called Life and Death in the Kalahari. And I went with a guy called Mike Main. I haven't spoken to Mike for 10 plus years. I don't think I've spoken to him since I left South Africa in 2013, maybe even earlier. We did a shoot in 2010. It was the last time I actually worked with him. But in 2006, and we did a story about the Kalahari, and it was a television story. It was inspired by Michael Palin. He was a hero of mine at the time. He was a wonderful broadcaster. Obviously he's part of the Monty Python, but he did a lot of exceptionally good travel shows. And he was my inspiration. And I think, and I've got some photographs of that campfire. I've got a lovely photograph, I'm going to go and find it, of this kettle. Now, you might not be able to see it, but if you look inside, can you see that there's rust inside now? Can you see that there? Yeah, there's rust inside it, and I noticed for the first time it's actually eating away. Even though this is a stainless, it's obviously a very poor quality stainless, and I don't want to, that's a health risk. So I'm going to retire this and put it in my gallery of something, I don't know. It has lots of character. It's been on a lot of campfires. I have to buy myself something. What should I buy myself? You know what I really do like? I really like the Yeti brand. Okay, not sponsored in any way, shape or form. I buy them from Anaconda or whatever, and I pay full retail price. I like them. They're just really nice quality. Really nice quality. I'm going to wrap up now with I need to film a few more things on some of the Olight torches that I played with. So if you want that whole video, that's on a separate video. But I rather like this knife. I do not, to be honest with you, remember the name of the actual knife. I'll print it below on the screen. And it is actually rather nice. I actually prefer it to my other Olight knife. I just like it. And they all come in pouches, which is very useful. Knives need to come in sheaths or pouches to make them useful. To me, it's important. And the ArcLight, there were two of them. One of them is here. This is the ArcLight Pro, made out of this very heavy-duty aluminium with this green color. I used it last night on the pan doing my shoot. The flood is actually, it's a very, very nice flood. It's just this gentle, broad. I think I might actually use this quite a bit. It has a very nice feel to it, and it has the pointer, which I don't really need. It's not a proper laser pointer, which would be useful, but I know there are restrictions in Australia with laser pointers. You have to, to get one with a proper thing to point at stars and things, you need actually need to get a permit for it, but like you do if you wanted to buy a firearm, and you have to just explain why you want it, and you promise not to shine it at airplanes. They are magnetic. Would have surprised me had they not been magnetic, to be honest with you. because it just makes them that much more useful. So I do like them. I do like them a lot. My hunch is that I will use them a lot around, obviously not tactical, but around the camp. I think I'm going to use them a lot. I approve. So the details of those are in my on the page on the website. You'll see description below. You'll see a link. If you buy using my links, I get a little bit of money from Alight. It's not a lot, but hey, every little bit helps. Since I don't have big sponsors, I just enjoy lovely equipment, and I'm very, very fortunate in that every year, actually this year it's been twice, my favorite torch company sends me some kit to play around with. The car's full of it. And it's spent. Oh, I did wanted to show you this. So that now is the Jowlot 2. That, you want a security light that you can grab quickly because it comes with this pouch, okay? Little magnetic clip, nicely designed, simple, straightforward. Put it on your belt, strap it on the mole panels, and that with one press of a button at the back gives you a round, incredibly long beam of light. That's first class. I really like that. So that's become my kind of go-to security light at the back here, and this is the Streaker, I think they call it, and that's my go-to light that I use around camp. But I found I'm using this less and less because of the O-clip. Do I have enough torches? Almost. One thing I can say, from the last couple of trips, my troopy, my coffee making skills have skyrocketed. I look back at this car and I do it with every troopy I see. I stand back and go, man, that is a good looking truck. And you know, the thing is with troopy, it's not just a good looking truck. They work so well as a two-person overlander. Man, they work well. Before I say goodbye, this then is the place I camped. I drove past yesterday afternoon. There were 4 or 5 vehicles parked here, and that's why I decided that I would not camp here. It's a beautiful campsite. It's 8 o'clock. There's nobody here, so nobody spent the night here. I wonder where they spent. They were just, I don't know, but this is the place. It's an absolutely lovely campsite. Beautiful shade trees. It's a bit further from the pan, and this is where I did the shakedown trip for my grey troopy. I think I prefer the campsite I've got, but here I have lots of shade, there no shade. Interesting that nobody actually spent the night here. But this is not my last night sleeping in a troop carrier. I am going to South Africa in February to collect the Africa troop carrier with the FTE conversion completed, and I'll be doing a couple of short trips. So it's far from goodbye, apart from that is to you who've been watching this video. Thank you so much, especially if you're still here. Until next time.